Welcome back to my next video. Today I'm going to go over a common maintenance item I do on my RV. And right here I have three different products that I've used over the years. I've rotated and I'll show you a product that I like using the most. But here I have basically the Liquid Wrench brand RV silicone spray. And then this sail coat, very common in the sailing industry. And then this Boeshield T-9. Now this is the one I predominantly use these days. And let me show you the common maintenance areas that I use this on. Okay, we're going to do this together, but let me start out right away from a common maintenance area that you should probably not ignore is this entry door. Now in 2020, Winnebago put this newer type entry door in. And over the years, I've learned and reading through forums that these hinges here, there's something common called galvanic corrosion. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but we have dissimilar metals in the hinges. And after a while, the hinges like to bind and they'll squeak over time. So even if they didn't, this is a common point where you would want to spray. Now I'm using this Boeshield. Let me see if I can get this. Boeshield T-9. I've already done it, but for demonstration purposes, on these hinges, you want to hit, basically any point where there's going to be a little bit of friction, you want to spray that on it. You want to spray it here. There's another set of hinges here, and then of course up there. Then on top of it, you will want to cycle your door in and out. Get that Boeshield really working in the hinges, and then when the door is open, you want to do the same thing, is hit all these points here. Now the reason I use Boeshield is one of the qualities that this has is it is paint safe. For video purposes, I'm not going to do it right now, but you should wipe off all the excess. But I hit all the hinges, and again I cycle the door in and out. I would do this probably at least a couple of times a year, and depending on if you're in a highly corrosive living area with lots of salt, and you might want to do it more. Now aside from the hinges, I spray this in every moving part. So here's another area, the actual catches. Now in this type of door, there's a catch here and a catch up there, so you will want to do both. And at the same time, you'll also want to do, like, see this handle? When you pull out the handle, I can't do it without both hands, but I pull out the handle and I spray inside there again. Any moving part. Now, I don't do the actual locks. The locks, you probably want to use a different product, but that's at the door. Let's move on next to this part right here, the actual, we'll call it the Mercedes side of the door. Another item I do when the door is open is I spray right here where the hinges are. Any moving part that you see, again, I've sprayed all this, but I'm just showing for demonstration purposes. And same thing, you will want to move that door, activate that door in and out. And same thing here where the door catch is. And while you're up here, another common item that, again, I've sprayed all this, but these mirrors. Now, these mirrors like to bind over time. So if you ever want to collapse the mirrors, like the mirrors collapse like this, you can also spray these points here and here. It's all the moving parts, and you'll want to move these. The mirrors also fold this way too. It actually folds forward, and you will want to spray in there. But that will make the mirrors a lot easier to fold in the future without it sounding like it's going to break off. I haven't found all the points for this awning. Now there's obviously hinge points in the awning, but one area that I think I am missing is where the motor is, because when I'm using this awning it does squeak, so I'm missing a point. So if anyone knows where else I can spray it besides, we'll call it these obvious locations, I do need to do that. And let's move on to the baggage doors. Let me show you what we need to do in the baggage doors. Okay, in these baggage doors, what you'll see is a common area that gets missed is on both sides of the door. There are these plastic strikes or these plungers. You'll want to spray some in there. Where the shock is going up and down and rotating, you probably want to spray some there. It wouldn't hurt to spray the shocks, but I've never had to do that. And then remember, not only this side, but you should do both sides. And I also like to do the handles. And hard to do with without both hands, but you lift these up and spray both points inside there. And lastly, on this type of door, if you look underneath, what you will see are hinges. There's one hinge here and one hinge right over here. You'll want to spray both of those because they squeak over time as well. And then lastly, one point you might want to do with these doors. Now, in the Winnebago doors, you can physically slam the door down like that. And when you do that, a common item that happens or doesn't happen is only one side of the door catches like to catch. I don't know if I can catch this on camera, but you can see that. Nope, I cannot catch it on camera. But this side of the door is latched, and this side, I might be able to catch that. This side right there is not latched. And that's very common to do, so you do want to make sure when you shut this door that both catches are in the locked position. The other thing, what I like to do, because the plastic catches are pretty fragile, instead of slamming the door shut, I actually have a practice if I pull the handle down and I shut it this way and make sure both sides are latched. That will make those plastic plungers last a lot longer and they won't break on you. Now, I do go through all the baggage compartments and spray everything. This one on the 24D floor plan, I have hinges along the side here. I do those. And next, let's go on and go in the wet bay, and I'll show you what I do with the call it the dump valve handles, and you'll see from there what needs to be sprayed near the dump valve handles. Now, while I'm in the dumping process, what I like to do is I like to actually spray this Boeshield right onto my dump valves when they are pulled. So we'll start with the black. And while I am dumping, I am going to go ahead and spray this. And I'll do the same thing for the gray, but when it's done dumping, I will pull that valve in and out and I'll show you. But right now I'm currently dumping through my mass raider system into the side of the house. So that's the black tank dumping. It shouldn't take long, probably 15-20 seconds or so. Now all that extra overspray, I'll just wipe that off with a rag or a paper towel. But there we go. Now my black tank is done, and I will move this valve in and out. Oh. Move that valve in and out a couple of times, and I'll spray it again and move it in and out a couple more times. Then same thing is I will go down below, and this is my black tank valve here. So the actual rod, now that you see this rod, the cylinder pulling this rod out, I'll also lubricate this rod, and we'll push that cable in. We'll move that cable in and out a couple of times. Okay, cable's moving in and out. Now with it pushed in, same thing, I'll go down below and I'll actually spray this silver cable going into here. I'm going to be generous on it, but now slide the lever back and forth. So your dump valves, these levers here, should go in and out pretty smoothly. So if yours doesn't go in and out smoothly, besides lubricating them, you'll have to do that wire management that I've shown on one of my other videos. Now I'll repeat the same thing for my gray dump valves, and I don't think I need to show that on the video, but so here's the gray here. But while I'm at it, I will also spray my leveling jacks. Probably want to go around on all sides, but right now I have my leveling jacks extended quite far, so it has a long path to travel, but I will bring my leveling jacks up and down as well, and this not only lubricates, it also cleans it. Let's go to some other areas and I'll show you what else I do. Okay, now I'm going to do my gray dump valves. I'm going to pull this. Let me, I'll empty my gray dump valve with my macerator while we're at it. And I will spray down here. I don't know how well that camera is picking it up in this lighting. And once my gray tank is emptied, I will move that valve in and out and repeat the same process down at the underneath. And again, I won't show on camera, but I'll wipe off all the excess. While my gray is being dumped, I will spray the rod here down below. So this should be ready to go. And you can hear my macerator pretty much done. Okay, we'll shut the pump off. And let's work that dump valve in and out. Spray that one more time. We'll work it in and out. So I don't know how well that camera picks this up, but it should be, your dump valve should come out with, I won't say little effort, there's some effort, but it shouldn't be very tough. Pushing in and pulling out is about the same resistance. Let's pull it out again. And so we're done dumping. Now let's go and lubricate these jacks here. You could wipe it up and down with a rag, but this is pretty much all I'm going to do. And same thing for the front leveling jacks. Like I mentioned, I have them really extended so I can really get this lubrication on there. We'll go on to this side here. Okay, that should be it. Here's another area that's pretty important, these steps. So on the steps, it's really anywhere where the metal friction and items move. That's where you really want to get this in there. And little goes a long ways. I'm just doing little dabs and making sure I get in between points if I can. Now those are the visible, but you do have to check underneath. There's a couple of areas you can't get from the front side. You do have to be careful. You don't want these stairs to collapse on you. But there's 2 pivot points here that you see. Let me see here. And then some pivot points here. You can see them. Same thing for here. And then you see them way up there. Again, these wouldn't be areas you could reach from just the outside. And I do this a couple of times a year, but I guess it depends on how often you'll use your RV. And looks like I have one more pivot point where this motor is here. This is where the motor is. And that should do it. Now, I don't lubricate any of the suspension components, but if I see any signs of corrosion or rust, so if I see little signs of corrosion like this, I'll just spray that on there. So that gives it like a little waxy coating, and it'll protect that at the same time. Let me get some of the inside while I'm at it, and I'll do this inside here too. There we go. All right, well, that's really it for underneath the RV. Now, if you have other areas that you would recommend or know of, please share. Now, this has nothing to do with, you know, sometimes the U-joint in the drive axle, there's grease zerks there. Now, this is only for, I'll call it, just spray-on lubrication points here. But that is it for underneath the RV. Okay, another very critical area is your slide outs. Now, on your slide outs, if you follow the instructions, you actually don't do the track at all. Right inside here where it goes inside this rubber, I'll call it rubber seal here, you spray in here. That's where the gears are on the inside. So I usually spray a little bit in there, spray it good. Of course, you have to do the top track as well. Then because, you know, I don't actually spray the track, you can see how clean it is. I think if you spray this too much, dirt could probably collect on there. And then of course you have to do the back tracks. And I'll show you one more on the inside. I don't think the manual says to do it on the inside at all, but I do a little bit of the track. Let me see if I can get that good. Okay. Okay, with the slide out done now, what I haven't done, and I probably won't show on camera, is this slide topper awning. Now, they are on rollers, so you probably want to spray the rollers over here and the other side. I won't show that on camera. I'll need to grab a taller ladder, but don't forget about those. And let's go ahead and jump on the inside. Okay, we're going to finish up with the inside. The things I like to do, I can't show without both hands, but where the slide out gears come in, I like to do the top and bottom. I basically just bring the slide out in just a little bit so I can have access. I won't be able to pick it up on camera, but I also spray on this side. And on the 24D floor plan, it is tough, but doable. Same thing, you bring the slide in just a little, and you can get to those 2 points here too. I think on the manual wise, those aren't totally necessary, but that is something I do. I don't do anything else inside the RV. I'm sure there's some points inside the RV that you could do, but really that's it. I think anybody could do this. And it is important. If you do this, you know, obviously things will last longer. The squeaks will go away. And, you know, it's part of just basically a regular preventative maintenance. If you have any, you know, questions or comments, of course, please write them down below. If I've missed any important points, please bring them up, because I like to hit any other points that I have. And on one of my, I think, future videos, the other thing I will probably do is how I maintain the rubber seals. There are some products, you know, there's plenty of products out there to treat your rubber and plastic on the RV, same as the tires, and I'll show you what I do there. But it's really just to, you know, take care of your RV, make some items last longer, you know, prevent that UV damage, and pretty much anybody can do these. Hope you like videos like this. Please remember to hit the thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next video.